7 o'clock. Let's get this going. Welcome, everybody. We've got the semifinals here in the VBL Draft League. We've got the 7-3 ranked number 2 Waterloo Wormadams versus the 6-4 Phoenix Suns, ranked number 6, the only lower seed to go through the first round. On the side of the Waterloo Wormadams, we've got Cinderace G-Max, Porygon 2, Magnezone, Heracross, Mantine, Quagsire, Dunsparce, Delmise, Grimmsnarl, Mr. Rhyme, and Gloom. And on the side of the Phoenix Suns, we've got Rillaboom G-Max, Porygon Z, Alola Ninetales, Excelgor, Rhydon, Magneton, Zweilous, Pylosand, Aromatisse, Frostmoth, and Amoonguss. And we got the poll up. Let's see the poll results. It was, and it still is, 100% for the Phoenix Suns. Let's get into the game. Oops, I'm stuck on the poll here. There we go. Game 1's up there. On the side of the Phoenix Suns, we've got Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Excelgor, Palisand, Porygon Z, and Rhydon. On the side of the Wormadams, we've got Cinderace, Grimmsnarl, Porygon 2, Delmise, Heracross, and Mr. Rhyme. Anybody changing their opinions seeing the lineups? I don't know how much delay is in the chat. Might just be internet delay on my side. Doesn't look like too much. It's curtains for Phoenix, alright. Let's get into the game. Game number 1, here we go. We've got Cinderace Heracross lead from the Wormadams, Rillaboom, Porygon Z. Grassy Surge comes up from the Rillaboom. I gotta turn this slow. G-Max on the Cinderace, Dynamax on the Porygon Z. Fake Out comes out onto the Heracross. Heracross goes first. Interesting. Cinderace comes out with the Max Airstream onto the Porygon Z. Does around 40%. Raises the speed of both the Pokemon on his side. Max Strike almost taken down the Cinderace. Life Orb on the Porygon Z. Cinderace lives. Takes away the speed boost. There's a Max Guard coming out on the Cinderace. And a Max Guard coming out on the Porygon Z on the other side. Close combat going into the PZ. Doesn't do anything. And the knockoff, critical hit, knocks off Heracross's Choice Scarf. Interesting item. Grassy terrain healing everybody up. There's another Max Airstream coming in onto the Rillaboom. That's a critical hit, knocks out the Rillaboom right away. Boosts the speed again. That's another close combat, taking out the Porygon Z. Moxie Boost coming out. Shout out to Moxie Boosted, given that +1 attack to the Heracross, +1 speed, +1 attack. Cinderace still hanging in there. Amoonguss and Rhydon are coming in the back. There's a Protect on the Amoonguss. And an Iron Head instead going right into the Rhydon, maybe seeing the Protect coming. But a Mega Horn into the Amoonguss. He didn't predict correctly the entire way. Oh, and the big flinch on the Rhydon. That could have been a dead Cinderace for sure. And there's a Rage Powder. Cinderace is up, and he gets a Pyro Ball. That reveals an Oka Berry on the Amoonguss. Takes about 40% off of the Amoonguss' health. A close combat going into the Rage Powder. That would have gone right into the Rhydon. Amoonguss is not looking good, but that Rock Slide takes out both of the Wormadams' Pokemon. What does he have in the back? It's got to be something good against Rhydon. We got a Mr. Rhyme. We've got a Porygon 2. Porygon 2 even gets the special attack boost. It's not looking good. Fake Out onto the Amoonguss. And an Ice Beam into Rhydon. A critical hit takes him out right away. It's Amoonguss versus the world, and it looks like it's just going to be a couple Ice Beams. And there goes the Amoonguss. Game 1 is a 2-0 victory for the Wormadams. Hey, no meta in the chat. He wouldn't be happy if he didn't win. If Poppin' Fresh is still here, I don't know if that crit mattered on Rillaboom or not. It is max attack Cinderace. I will tell you after game 2 and 3 how much special defense investment Cinderace has. Or you can watch the Team Builder. Team Builder's up right now too. Let's get into game 2. What adjustments do we make? Looks like the Wormadams took a hell of a time figuring that out. But no adjustments made at all. Heracross, Cinderace, Rillaboom, Porygon Z. Cinderace maxes right away. I'll turn to slow again, sorry. Fake out onto the Heracross. Flinches again, obviously. Max Airstream again into the Porygon Z. Still doing around 40%. Raises the speed. And we got a max strike into the Heracross. So Heracross goes down right away. No close combat, gonna finish off the Porygon Z this time. What's he bringing in? We've got the Mr. Rhyme coming in. An immediate switch out into the Rhydon. Fake out goes into that slot. Was going to fake out the Rillaboom. And a G-Max Fireball into the Porygon Z. Porygon Z lives on about 5% HP. Max Strike into the Focus Sash Mr. Rhyme. Oh no. The Life Orb narrowly takes out Porygon Z. Cinderace is at full health. There's an Ally Switch. Another Max Strike. He was going into the Mr. Rhyme again. Did he predict the Ally Switch? I don't know. But Cinderace lives again, takes himself out with the Life Orb damage. And a Max Steel Spike going into the Rhydon. As a Rock Slide comes out, does not take out the Cinderace, but does get the Mr. Rhyme. Cinderace got +1 defense, but he's at half speed. Things aren't looking good for that Cinderace. Rillaboom comes out again. That could even just be a fake out right into the Cinderace. Porygon 2 again gets a special attack boost. We see a switch from the Rhydon into the Amoonguss. Fake out does not take out the Cinderace. Holy moly. The defense boost coming in clutch. Ice Beam into the Rillaboom. A crit takes out the Rillaboom. The crit +1 Ice Beam from Porygon 2. Rhydon comes back in. Protect on the Rhydon. Iron Head was going into the Rhydon, but he got protected. Ice Beam again onto the Amoonguss. Amoonguss is going for the Spore. Porygon 2 is taking a nap. Cinderace is still healing up some health. Looks like he is still the fastest one on this field, even with the half speed. Amoonguss protects himself. Got another Iron Head going into the Rhydon. A crit again. Porygon 2 is still sleeping. Another flinch. That's 2 flinches in 2 games onto the Rhydon. Iron Head bypassing the Rage Powder. That means he's got safety goggles. Porygon 2 wakes up, and there's an Ice Beam into the Amoonguss. Which means we've got a 2-0 victory. Porygon 2 and Cinderace coming up big at the end. Oh, I mean, you can look at the chat. Let me scroll up. Honestly, I'm sorry, my luck has been absurd. I definitely did not deserve this game. Yeah, so my Cinderace was EV trained specifically to both live a modest max special attack, life orb, max strike all the time, and also 2-hit KO with max airstream with a +1 boost to attack, because Cinderace was Choice Scarf coaching. So the original plan was just coaching Cinderace max airstream twice and win the game from there. Normal gem, that would have been wild. We also played a game 3 if you guys want to watch. It's pretty fun. Just so Sam X wouldn't know the results of the game. So let's jump into our fake game 3. As we've got Porygon 2, Delmise, Excelgor, and Palisand. And P2 gets the special attack boost. That's a max Delmise right away. And a max Palisand right away. That means we've got a Water Shuriken coming into this Palisand. He crits himself. Gets the +2 boost. He gets the weakness policy off. Hits himself one more time. Does not get the third hit for the ×4. Ice Beam still taking down 40% of that max Palisand's health. Max Phantasm comes through from the Delmise, only doing 20%, lowering the defense a little bit. But boy is this Delmise in trouble. That's a one-hit KO from the Palisand. What a beast. Got another Mr. Rime sighting. That's 3 games in a row with the Mr. Rime. Excelgor protects himself. Max Guard from the Palisand, so there's no attacks coming out here. There's a Guard swap from the Mr. Rime, and an Ice Beam and Porygon 2, both going into the Palisand. Mudshot comes out on the Porygon 2, like, lowers his speed. There's the Guard swap coming out onto Mr. Rime. Palisand's got no defense boost. Ice Beam takes him out. He's still faster, even with that speed drop. Got a 2.5 times defense Mr. Rime right now. As a fake out onto Porygon 2 from the Rillaboom has just come in. Yawn going into the Mr. Rime from the Excelgor. And there's a Guard swap from the Mr. Rime onto the Porygon 2. How are you going to kill a Porygon 2 with an Eviolite and 2.5 times defense? That's the real question. There's a Yawn coming into the Porygon 2 again. Mr. Rime stays in, so he's falling asleep. Oh, there goes the Eviolites. There's his first tactic. Ice Beam into the Excelgor takes around 70% of his health, and an Ice Beam into the Rillaboom taking around 84% of his health. Mr. Rime starts taking a nap. Excelgor switches into Amoonguss, and Rillaboom Brick Break does around 20% to the Porygon 2. Mr. Rime's still napping, and there's the Ice Beam to finish off the Rillaboom. Got 2 sleeping Pokemon on the side of the Wormadams, but he's got 3 Pokemon still left alive, almost at full health. An Excelgor and an Amoonguss. Cinderace comes in from the back. There's a Protect on the Excelgor. Porygon 2 is asleep. Amoonguss spores the own Excelgor. Everybody's gonna take a nap. Keep in mind this Cinderace has safety goggles, so Amoonguss isn't doing anything to him. Water Shuriken only hits twice on the Cinderace. There's activating the Okaberry again with the Pyro Ball. Porygon 2 wakes up, Ice Beams the Excelgor, doesn't take him out. Amoonguss gets the sleep off onto the Excelgor. Poppin' Fresh, let me know in chat, but I feel like neither of them had any attacks to hit Porygon 2 with anyway. As he jokes in the chat, everyone go to sleep. Pyro Ball finishes off the Amoonguss, and then we've got an Ice Beam coming into the Excelgor to take Game 3.